Hello and welcome to my Singham gang. This is Study with Sudhir, your destination for both ICSE Class 10 and ISC Class 12. Of course, Class 9 and Class 11 as well. What we are going to do today is the first of three different test papers. This one is on MCQ. We've already done a couple of MCQs quizzes earlier. This one, yet another one from English literature, combining both a movie as well as the two poems and two stories. But if you want more on this last day before your English literature examination, you could look up the 20 test papers which are in MCQ format, subjective format, chapter-wise format, also scene-wise format question papers to give you the best practice just before you go. What is more important is that in the subjective question answers, it will tell you exactly how to write those answers. That is very important in order to get a 3 out of 3, a 4 out of 4. ये यहाँ वहाँ से किसी book से cut paste करके यहाँ नहीं दिखाते हैं हम. We write our answers ourselves. They are high quality answers, leaving nothing to chance. Okay, let's get started with the MCQ questions. This one from the poem 9 Gold Medals, and please keep solving and write it in the comment section. The poem 9 Gold Medals celebrates the spirit of dash and dash, disability and collaboration. Now, you remember the poem is about differently abled athletes. Okay, so this is an option you need to look at. Competition and cooperation, right? They're competing and they're cooperating, right? Another option. Pity and sympathy. Please remember, look at, well, if you're a member of SWS, look at our notes, look at our explanation. What was the sentiment that was really being expressed due by the actions of those 8 other athletes? Was it pity and sympathy or was it something else? I leave it to you. Care and compassion. Which one is the most appropriate? Always remember in the MCQ formats, please listen to this carefully. Follow a method of elimination. Elimination. You need to always choose the most appropriate, because in English literature in particular, unlike in subjects like maths and physics, where there will be only one correct answer, in English literature you need to choose the most appropriate kind of answer option of the 4 options. Here obviously C has to be ruled out because we are talking of empathy, not pity and sympathy. Empathy is the dominant emotion. Remember the difference between pity, empathy and sympathy, especially between empathy and sympathy. Disability and collaboration, no, that is not being celebrated. Obviously, the poem is not celebrating the differently able nature of the athletes. Competition and cooperation, it's celebrating cooperation, but it is not celebrating competition. In fact, it is celebrating collaboration, right? So, care and compassion is the most appropriate option as far as this question is concerned. Understood? Right. Why did Jesse Owens and Les Long laugh about Les Long's looks? He looked like a cool film star. He was double Hitler's height. This is from one of the pre-board papers. He did not look like a typical Aryan. He was the perfect poster boy to endorse Hitler's Aryan superiority theory. Endorse means as a proof, you know, it's almost like an advertisement. So the correct option is D. He was the perfect poster boy to endorse Hitler's Aryan superiority theory. All these options could also be correct, but as I said, elimination theory. These two obviously are not mentioned anywhere in the story. They are just to confuse you. He did not look like a typical Aryan because the way that sentence is phrased, you may get a little confused, right? Let me just read it out so that we just kind of explain everything. We laughed over the fact that he really looked the part though, you know, the fact that he looked like a typical Aryan, the way Hitler envisaged and spoke about it. Envisaged matlab imagine. You know, there are some people who think that I use high funda English. The more you listen to my vocabulary, your vocabulary will improve. Tumhare bhale ke liye hi hai. Why did Jesse Owens foul badly in the qualifying jumps? He got a complex seeing Les Long's jump. He got disturbed. Was it because of that? He was suffering from jet lag. Well, this is nowhere mentioned in the story. He was not well prepared that day. Was it because of that? Or he was angry with Hitler's Aryan theory and lost his mind. The correct option is D, and you can see it in the 1, 2, 3rd, 4th paragraph of the story. A little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways, I determined to go there and show der Führer and his master race who was superior and who wasn't. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes, as any coach will tell you. So that's the reason, option D. How do children react to the sunny day? This is from All Summer in a Day. They are fearful. Now here, please remember, this is the keyword, sunny day, which means the sun is already out. They are fearful and they are kind of, they are a little nervous before the door opens, before the sun actually comes out. They are fearful when the sound of the rain ebbs, when the sound of the rain stops, right? So please remember this keyword, sunny day. Always read the question very carefully and then look at the 4 options. They run and shout with pleasure. They break down. When do they cry? When the rain makes an appearance again, when it starts drizzling and one of the raindrops falls on the palm of a girl. They feel guilty for what they did to Margaret, right? Is it sunny day? Now some people may get confused and say D, they feel guilty because after the sunny day is what happens, right? React. They may get confused, but the correct option is B. The literal, how did they react to the sunny day? They run and shout with pleasure. Everyone expected Jesse Owens to win the broad jump event because he had trained and sweated for so many years. He had won several medals before. All these are facts. He had set the world record in Ohio State University. They knew he wanted to prove Hitler wrong. Now you may get confused between D, C and A. But the correct answer, the most appropriate option is C. Why did everyone expect? And all you need to do, see, please remember today one more thing you need to do apart from taking part in all these questions, and the next 2 ones are going to be even more important because we are going to look at the subjective question and answers. You need to read the text at least twice before going to the examination. Tonight and tomorrow morning. Just read the text very carefully. Now here, why did everyone expect? A year before, as a sophomore at the Ohio State University, had set the world's record of 26 feet 8 by 4 inches. Everyone kind of expected me to win the Olympic event hands down. So if you just know the text carefully, very well, you will not make a mistake with these kind of very book-related questions. What was Margaret's biggest crime? She remembered the sun. She sang poems on the sun. She had come to Venus only 5 years ago. Both A and C options. Now here, this is yet another example of why you need to read the text very, very carefully. Now, all these are true. All these are true, but which one is, because it is described as Margaret's biggest crime by Ray Bradbury, the author of the book. He says very clearly, and then of course the biggest crime of all was that she had come here only 5 years ago from Earth. 5 years ago from Earth, and she remembered the sun and the way the sun and the sky was when she was 4 in Ohio. She remembered the sun. So the keywords is remembered is used in the text. She had come to Venus only 5 years ago is used in the text. So option D, which is both A and C, are correct. Okay, please read the text carefully. I'm again and again saying Shylock uses the word Vance to argue that Christians do not treat their slaves well. What does Vance mean? Food, bed, marriage, ducats. If you have read it and you have kind of seen all the correct modern words for these Shakespearean words, you know he is referring to food, option A. The poem Above Ben Adam is rooted in a spiritual, secular, modern, superstitious. Don't get confused between A and D, because you may think that the angel is part of his imagination, superstition, and you may mark D. No, it is A, spiritual. Antonio gives spiritual means something to do with God and devotion and religion. Antonio gives Bassanio a task to do after he is dead. What is it? To return the money to Shylock, that is the 3,000 ducats. To write his epitaph. Epitaph is something which is written on the tomb, on his grave. To pass on his wealth to Lorenzo. To take charge of his argosies. Now, what is the correct option? Option B, to write his epitaph. Last question. What is Shylock referring to when he calls Portia a Daniel? Now, this is something many of you may have missed out if it has not been explained to you in your class. The correct answer is B, Old Testament. Okay, so just remember this. This is Old Testament. He was a Jewish prophet, okay, who also kind of, took charge of, judging cases. But here the word uses Christian judge, right? So he was a judge. That's why he's referred to as a Daniel. I mean, Shylock calls Portia a Daniel because he used to settle these kind of cases. But he was known as a Jewish prophet, and this is part of the Old Testament. Okay, so this is as far as the quiz is concerned. We will do 2 more live things like this, talking specifically about MOV and also treasure trove, subjective question answer, so that you get a clear idea about how to write the perfect 3 out of 3, 2 out of 2, 4 out of 4 marks kind of an answer. So don't miss that. And the time that you have in between, please read your text very carefully. Thank you very much for watching.